Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California, and today I'm going to talk about what seeds I am starting to grow. And what I love growing is instant food. That's not to say we can't start a few other types of seeds, but think of instant food. You can't go wrong. If they grow in the house and you start getting plants and they get leggy, let's say kale, lettuce, bok choy, or collard, or anything like that, you can eat them. You can eat them at any stage. That's why instant food is usually the best ones to start right in the beginning. Now, you wouldn't want to grow squash right now because squash needs the soil to be warm. And our ground isn't going to be warm for quite a while. And when it's the right time and you plant the seed, they're going to literally come up in 3 days and take off. If you plant them now, they'll just get leggy. You'll put them outside. They'll be so stressed that they won't grow. And that's the problem. They'll have a lot of issues, or you'll get a weak plant and then you don't get a lot of fruit. So watermelon, squash, all those, zucchini, you want to do that later. Now, tomatoes and peppers you could start, but keep something in mind. If you're not putting it out for a couple months, our homes harbor things that outside cannot grow. Like certain molds and funguses can get onto plants. And if they get on and you see them, especially like on tomato plants, you can't really wash that off because it's coming from our house. Though if the plant was growing outside, it would never have had that issue. So think about that. But that's not saying that you shouldn't grow it. Because if you think you can grow it or you've done it, then go for it. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? The worst that's going to happen, the plant doesn't make it. Do not use up all your seeds though, and you start again in a couple weeks or a month. So you know your home and your area, your zone, your microclimate the best. And if you don't know, experiment, because that's how you're going to learn. You get a full packet of seeds. You can go to the dollar stores and get these for $1. Just plant a little bit, see how it works, keep the rest, and you'll know when the rest can be planted later on. Now, you can grow in the house in all different methods, because I know a lot of you that watch me are small-time gardeners, and you're putting your plants on your windowsills, your kitchens, your tables, in an area where they can get some sunlight. And that is fantastic. But the whole idea is, when can you get it out in the yard? That is the problem on some plants. Now, with instant food, it won't matter. You can take the container you're growing in, put it outside, and if it doesn't look like it's worthy of going out in the garden, you can eat it. Or, of course, you can compost it, because you know that everything I grow goes back into my containers and becomes my compost or soil. I always say soil. A lot of people want to correct me and say compost. But the point is, everything goes back. So you can start your containers in the house. Now, if you've got a greenhouse, throw this out. You don't have to listen to it because you're going to do it your way. You may have it heated and everything, and it's perfect for you. Then you have a different growing system. But for the average person that's only going to grow maybe 10 tomato plants, maybe 10 onions, or, you know, when I say onions, green onions, and you're only going to grow a few different types of plants, that's what you want to think about as what plants to start now. At this time of the year, you can start different things. I've got some beets. They got a little leggy. They may make it. I'm going to put them out in a dish pan. If they make it, they make it. And if they don't, I've got a whole package in the house I can do and put, you know, for a little bit later and do it again. Carrots and radishes, I think, are a little bit early right now. In about a month, we can start that, a lot of us. So what you want to do is think about what you're capable for your situation to grow. It is never a waste of time for you to try anything. I tried to grow mushroom plant, which is a green tropical plant, on my kitchen window, and I have more mushroom plants now than I know what I'm going to do with. Actually, I know what I'm going to do with them. I love them. They're easy to propagate. They're the perfect house plant. I put them in stir fries, salad, roasts. I throw them around. Everything I'm cooking, I throw them in there, and they just keep growing. And that is fantastic. And that was an experiment, because it's an outdoor plant. Now I'm growing it as an indoor plant. I've got peppers growing on my windowsill for a very long time, and those I know are a stronger plant, and I'll be able to transplant a lot of those outside as soon as I know our weather is stable. It's a little cool now, even though I'm starting to see seeds come up in my compost system. You know how everything, just drop it and let it decay and let the earthworms and the microbes get to it. When I see a lot of seedlings growing, I know that it's generating a little bit of heat, but I also know it's the right time, because when it's the right time, a seed will grow. We can trick it and do everything we can, but if you don't put it in the right situation, once you've tricked it and you put it where you want and it's not right, it will die back. And a lot of times, 90% of the time, those won't come back. So think about your zone, your microclimate. Think about when you will be planting outside and decide if it's the right time for you to start different things. But as far as instant food, I would say you can start all those now, because collard, you can eat collard when it's a tiny plant. You can eat it when it's big. It's the perfect thing to start, and it doesn't mind your collard and kale going outside when it's still cool. It doesn't want to be under snow unless it was there to start with, but you can plant that when it's cool outside and it will grow. Peppers want it a little warmer. Sometimes they don't like in hotter zones. They don't want direct sunlight all the time, all day. So I'm going to say another month for me to put my peppers out, and even my tomatoes. Probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'll be getting tomato plants out. Cucumbers, too early, because they want the ground hot, just like watermelon. They want that soil to be so warm, and if not, they'll rot back or they'll struggle. And then what may happen is the weather changes, and then they were so stressed out that a lot of those don't come back. So I would wait on that. So I hope I gave you some ideas on what I'm starting, which I am going to do most of your greens. I've already got lettuce growing everywhere around here. And that is the thing. Think about your situation, but experiment, because that's what gardening is all about. Trial and error. And there is no error, because when you make a mistake, as you want to call it, error, you've learned something. You may have to tweak one tiny little thing to get it to do exactly what you want it to do. And that is not error, that is learning. And we're all learning. I don't care how long you've been gardening. There are things that come to me right now that I never thought of, that I thought I should have thought of. And that is the thing. When you do it firsthand in your hands and you are planting, that is when you know what you can and cannot do, or what things you can try to do. I use kitty litter. And the point is, with that, I can put that in the top and it holds my soil down for my onions to grow. I use it all over. But it's not a good time to grow right now in kitty litter, because we're just too damp. But when the weather gets hot and dry, kitty litter holds water. Got a whole video on that. And it works like vermiculite. It is perfect and so cheap. We'll get into that soon. I hope I gave you some ideas on what to grow, and think about what you want to grow and how you're going to experiment. So with that, have a wonderful day. Don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. I love making these containers. Food containers, look at that. I upcycle, I recycle, I use everything. And why not? It's the best containers. Didn't cost me anything.